And the commissioner can do the same, and I think we'll be joined by a few others as well. But let me just first start out by again thanking the sponsors and the folks who were so important in getting this organized and continue the tradition, not just of the governor's deer hunting opener, but the deer hunting opener and deer hunting more broadly in Minnesota. In particular, I want to thank Minnesota Deer Hunters Association. Mark, thank you again for all that you've done year in and year out to make this event a success. We appreciate it very much. And the Minnesota Deer Hunters Association in Minnesota, I think, is the nation-leading organization in terms of keeping this tradition alive and performing at an exemplary level. We're really proud and grateful to the MDHA. Thank you. Appreciate it. And then I had a chance last night to go out to deer camp with the Nagels at the Nagel Farm. Ron Nagel, of course, is the patriarch of that deer camp, and he had a lot of relatives and friends. We had a wonderful time around the fire, had a chance to share stories of past deer openers, as well as a lot of other talk. Even a little politics came into the discussion, believe it or not. And then we went in and had a wonderful dinner with their extended family and friends. It was a beautiful evening. And then we got out on stand this morning early. My brother and I were in what they dubbed the Taj Mahal stand. There was probably enough space in there for about 8 people, but there was only the 2 of us. And it was a good stand. And we saw some deer early on, about 8 o'clock. There were 3 deer that came through right into a shooting lane for me, but there was just a little spiked buck and a fawn and a little doe. So we let them go. We were looking for a little larger buck. Unfortunately, that didn't come. So we had another doe, a very small doe, came through a little later in the morning. But in our party, our hunting party, they did well. We had, hopefully you'll see in just a minute, a 13-year-old with us, Steve Hasslinger. He was on the radio show yesterday. It was his 2nd year of deer hunting. He was very excited, put a lot of time and energy into studying it, going to safety camp, going on YouTube to watch and learn how to do field dressing and number of other things, but he put a lot of time into it, and we were all very hopeful that he'd get a deer, and in fact he did. He got I think a little 4-corn deer, or maybe even bigger than that. We'll see when he gets here. And then Ron Nagel, the person I mentioned earlier, whose property we were hunting on, got a very nice 8-point buck. It came out of a swamp, and he said he was going to let it turn towards us and then get out of his stand and kind of push it towards us, but he said it didn't cooperate with that plan. It was going the other way, further away from him, so he shot it. But I'm a little suspicious because when we went to the deer and it was field dressed, there was this big circle of blood that looked like the deer had been turned around to make it look like it was pointed at me. No, I'm teasing. But it was really fun. So we helped get his deer out, and the group was wonderful. The day obviously was beautiful. But more importantly than my personal stories is just, again, the importance of this to Minnesota. We want to make sure that we do all that we can to encourage people to keep this sport and really tradition moving forward in a positive way. And the only way that's going to happen is if we continue to share it with others, particularly people who haven't yet experienced it. And we're optimistic about the growth with women hunters. We want to make sure we continue to try to encourage more young people to try deer hunting. And that's been the commissioner's job and focus. So I want to thank you for being part of this and look forward to visiting with you over the bowl of chili. But Mark, our commissioner, why don't you take it from there?
You know, we had a great morning also, and I want to, again, extend my thanks to the Minnesota Deer Hunters Association and anybody listening out there on the radio. If you're not a member of the Deer Hunters Association and you're a deer hunter, I have to encourage you to take a look and joining this organization, because the leadership that this organization provides Minnesota and the deer hunting traditions, the protection of habitat, and the continuation of our sport, this organization really has their heart in mind and your heart in mind too. So I'd encourage you, if you have not, find a chapter and join up. It's a valiant effort. We had a great camp this morning, and I will tell you, Charlie, is Charlie here? Charlie's around. Boy, what a camp they have, and I'll tell you, when you have private individuals take pride in the ownership of their land and do proper management as they're doing, we saw a lot of deer this morning. I saw 8. We had somebody from Shara Outdoors there this morning and his wife in the stand. They saw 8 deer. And 8 deer was, it sounded like a 6-point buck was shot. Bob Lertzema is out there bringing that deer in. I was about 100 yards. No, Bob did not. I was. I could see Bob from my stand, and I saw 8 deer come from his stand towards me, turn around and go back, and I didn't. He didn't shoot, so I'm kind of interested to talk to him, find out what happened. But there was one really nice 8-point buck, and
he was probably sleeping.
He may have been. But
Mark, I think that gun he got from Mark Johnson didn't work.
Lurtzmer was borrowing a lot of stuff. But anyway, folks, I just want to thank everybody for coming out and being part of, and to the deer hunting community out there, thank you for all you're doing. It was a beautiful morning out there, and I'm sure everyone's enjoyed a great morning out in the stand. So with that, thank you for helping the state manage the deer herd in this state and enjoying the culture and the tradition of hunting here in Minnesota. Thanks, everyone.
I see Steve is just pulling up with his buck, and so maybe if he gets here, we'll let him tell the story of how he got that buck, and then we'll have some chili. But in the meantime, any questions from the press before we ask Steve to come up? If not, Mark, you want to come on up and just say thanks? I want to also thank Camp Ripley again. I know we did that at lunch the other day, but they just really extended themselves on behalf of this event, and their hospitality and opening up the camp is really appreciated. The city of Little Falls did a fabulous job in helping us put this together. The Convention and Tourism Bureau in Little Falls, we very much appreciate that. But all the sponsors are grateful for, and then again, the Minnesota Deer Hunters Association with their leadership role with the event.
Thanks, Governor. I just wanted, on behalf of MDHA, I really want to say thank you again, Governor, to you and your staff, to Explore Minnesota Tourism, John Edmond, and to Commissioner Holson, the DNR, for all the fine help and everything that goes into this. It's a huge endeavor, and these folks definitely are an intimate part of it. The other thing is the Governor mentioned Camp Ripley and the Visitor Convention Bureau. Folks, it wouldn't have happened without everybody's help putting it together. And then lastly, our local Morrison County chapter, a huge amount of volunteers. They were the ones that helped to drum up the majority of the hunter hosts. And again, without that private land to go on, this thing wouldn't happen. So we really thank each of you hunter hosts. Thank you very much. I had a great time this morning too. I had a young 13-year-old lady that took her and her dad out, and they managed to get a deer also. So the two, yeah. So the kids are ruling today.
Wow, that's terrific. Well, then we'll just close with the story of Steve Hasslinger, who got his first deer, right, ever. He was out last year but didn't get one, but this year he did. And Steve, why don't you tell us how it went down?
All right, so
wow, he's a natural.
So we weren't getting anything in the first 2 hours, didn't see anything, and finally I was looking out over the field, and my dad taps my shoulder and says, "Look down your shooting lane," and I do, and there's a spike buck standing there walking across, and by the time I get my gun up to my shoulder, it's out of the shooting lane and going around some trees, and my dad's whispering to me "Shoot it, quick, now, hit it." And so it pops out, and I got it in the shoulder, and it was running around in circles, kind of falling on the ground. We think it might have broke its shoulder as it hit when I hit it, and then it stopped for a second, and I shot it again, got it in the neck, and died there 10 feet from where I first shot it.
Very good. Very good.
And then your dad's snoring was a little bit scared some of the other deer away, right? Okay, everybody. Well, here's Steve's deer. We'll put this up here so people can take pictures. Yeah, there's the proof right there.
Nice big spikes on it.
You want to grab that, Steve?
Yeah, he's nice and thick.
Here, Mark, go on into it. What's that? You want us to move that one out of the way? No, that's okay. That's good. That's just fine. Okay, we'll just kneel down and get a picture.
There you go.
Steve. Hey, Paul. Did you get one with just you and Steve? Yeah. Did you?
Front of us, the turkeys that were there, we don't really see them a lot.
I watched my dad.
And my dad turned around and he saw the deer standing right behind us.
Oh yeah, for sure. I want to go out today.
I couldn't really get a good angle to shoot it, so he shot it and kind of just ran around for
like I said, I was really cold before that, but
fun?
I saw that buck, I warmed right up, and then afterward I was shaking.
Come on up, Dad.
That's Captain Staples. Captain Staples.
Say a word?
She pretty much said it all. It's a great morning.
And then, Captain, when were you deployed?
I was deployed 2004, 2005, then again in 2008 to 2009.
Thank you very much. We sure appreciate it. All right, with the Minnesota National Guard, obviously, yeah. Okay, let's get some pictures, too. Good work, you guys. We heard their story, but we didn't hear your story.
Didn't hear my story. I got to see 4 bucks this morning.
Wow. She shot the little one.
Yeah, that was the little one.
No, I missed the first one. Oh my. The second 2 I got too jittery and left the safety on. And the third one I got to get a shot at it.
4 bucks. How far apart in time?
Really within about 20 minutes.
Oh.
So.
Were the other ones bigger? Or?
This was the first one I got to see at a real nice rack was tall but thin, and this was the thickest rack.
See, so all those mistakes.
I know it worked
so
out for it's the best.
What do you think that is?
Matt drug it out. It's about.
Matt, how much do you think it weighs?
I don't. It's got to be over 200 pounds.
Yeah. Wow. Great job, you guys. Great job.